Sew it reversible, so it's reversible. This is the binding tutorial, a quick sewing tutorial. Sew it reversible and don't get into a bind. The tutorial will introduce you to the two-color binding technique. Match the binding to side 1 and side 2. Measuring up. With the exception of the side and shoulder joins, measure the perimeter of the armholes and the perimeter of the remaining raw edges. Binding should be made in 3 lengths, 1 length for each armhole and 1 length for the rest of the vest. To each length add at least 6 inches. The entire length drawn in yellow here can be done at one time. To color binding, you will need a 1-inch strip from the side 1 fabric and a 1 5/8 inch strip from the side 2 fabric. Fold the 1 5/8 strip in half and sew the raw edges and right sides together with your 1/4-inch foot. Steam or spray press both sides of the binding. Press open on the right side of the binding and press open on the wrong side. Let's finish the binding before we start. Before sewing the binding to your Sew It Reversible project, fold the starting edge on the diagonal and stitch over the fold. To lay binding on a garment, place right sides and raw edges together. That is, lay the right side of the 1-inch binding strip to the right side of side 1. Start sewing the binding on your garment near the side seam. This is the area where the beginning and the end of the binding will be attached. Begin sewing between 2 and 4 inches from the diagonal fold. Stop sewing 3 to 4 inches before you reach the beginning of the strip. Trim away any excess binding. Do not trim in the area closest to the beginning of the diagonal fold. You will need the full width of the binding in this area to finish properly. Once the end of the binding is adjusted and pinned in position, continue sewing from where you left off to where you began. Finish sewing the binding to side 1. Press the binding. When finished, turn the binding up and over to the other side. Bring the binding down to side 2. The seam should be at the top and the folded edge of the binding should cover the stitching from side 1. Here you have an option. You can either machine stitch or hand stitch, or if you wish, stitch in the ditch. Turn from side 2 back to side 1 and stitch in the ditch. Hand stitching hint: use these clippies rather than pins. Saves your hands. Corners. Not much to worry about with corners. Step 1. When you reach a corner, stop sewing 1/4 inch from the edge of the fabric. Step 2. Fold the binding up at a 45-degree angle. Check to be certain the strip is even with the edges of the garment. Press. You can add a pin if you wish. Step 3. Fold the fabric down at a 90-degree angle. Press again. Remove the pin. Begin sewing 1/4 inch from the edge of the fabric. That's 1/4 inch from the top and 1/4 inch from the edge. Don't Get Into a Bind is the last tutorial in this series, Sew It Reversible, So It's Reversible. I want to thank you very much for watching and learning. Sew It Reversible Foundation is available at www.quiltingonthegrid.com. The end. Oh, wait! This is not the end. This is only the beginning. The beginning of your fun, fast, and fabulous sewing and quilting adventures using Sew It Reversible Foundation. Order now from www.quiltingonthegrid.com. Music provided by